Good evening, everyone. So I hope all of you are joining in now. I'll wait for another 30 seconds and then we are going to begin with the CR masterclass on main idea and must be true. This is a continuation of the last masterclass where I had explained the way to go about main point questions. Very briefly, I will show you the highlight points even today, and then we will launch into question number 5 from where we had left in the last class. So let's begin with main point and must be true and take up these questions one by one. So just a quick revision. Main point requires you to identify the conclusion and it is reflected in the statements through indicators like hence, thus. In main point there is an except question. These except questions are the opposite of the main point. So if you are looking at an except question, that means you have to mark the option opposite to the main point. And we are looking at all questions that ask you main point, inference, what supports the author, as well as what must be true or except. And I had said that the answers have to be, I had focused a lot on how the answers have to be the minimum truth, which is expressed with the help of words like some, might, at least, not all. The answers cannot contain big words like majority, only, because they do not present the minimum truth, they present the upper limit or the maximum truth. When we do strengthen, weaken, you will notice these are the words used for strengthening and not the main point. Remember, a premise or a fact will not give the main point. If you are looking at an answer which is just written in the passage but does not reflect the main point, it probably just gives a fact or supports, that is an incorrect answer. Look for something else and definitely avoid course of action and commentary questions. Definitely avoid course of action and commentary questions. I had shown you these types of answers in the 4 questions we had attempted. And then we had spent a lot of time on what must be true, and we can't choose an answer as to what may be true. What must be true, and we cannot choose an answer for what may be true. So possibilities, there can be several possibilities that are highlighted when you read certain facts and certain events. These possibilities cannot be taken to be a scenario where the possibility is going to be true. So you are asked must be true questions which are 100% accurate based on the facts given in the passage. So the 100% accurate answer has to be chosen. Sometimes you will notice that the answer for an inference question was not really deduced by you, it was already given. So, and just rephrased, written in other words. Rephrase means written in other words. So pick that answer as long as it reflects what the author is trying to tell you. So don't go after possible options. This could also happen, or this can happen. We are looking at what has to happen, right? So remember this line: what must be true cannot be what may be true. So with that, we come to the 5th question. And let's start working on question number 5. So I extend a warm welcome to all of you who have just joined. And straight away, I launch you into question number 5. Let me help you by reading out this question. In 1992, there were over 250 rescues of mountain climbers, right? Costing the government $3 million. More than 25 people died. Many new climbers enter the sport each year. Therefore, members of a task force have proposed. So remember, words like have proposed suggest the conclusion or proposition. This suggests that the conclusion of the task force is requiring all climbers to post a large sum of money to be forfeited to the government in case of a calamity. Now look at the tricky question. Each of the following principles supports the task force members' proposal. So proposed leads to proposal. Proposal, in other words, is their conclusion. So we have to support this conclusion, except. That means except to support. So first look at the verb. What is happening with the options? This is the verb. And if it is written except, that means whatever is opposite to this verb will be the answer. So this means 3 options will be this, 1 option will be this. So identify the verb in the question so that you are not confused. Whenever you see except, don't trust your memory. Go back to the word which represents the verb, that shows the action of the options. So if it says supports as the verb, then that means we have to choose except supports. So naturally 1 will be our answer. So we look at 3 options that support and 1 option that does not support. The odd one out will be our answer. So what are the steps? You look at except, you immediately go back to the question stem, identify the verb that describes the action of the, or the word that connotes the action of the 3 options, of the options. So if it is supports except means 3 options support, 3 options go with the verb, 1 option goes with except. So that means that 1 option that is not supporting, right? So I'll give you 30 seconds to work on the options and then I'll quickly show you the breakup of this question. Remember, in these question types, we were learning how to break down the given passage so that the broken down passage helps us with the understanding of what is happening and what we are supposed to look at. If you have understood except, give me a quick thumbs up while you are reading the options. So it's an except question. That means 3 options are reasons for supporting the tax. This tax or this money has to be paid to the government to be used in case of calamity. So let's go back to the question stem, right? Let's go back to the question stem. 3 things will say yes, we should have a bond arrangement. Bond means submitting some kind of money for all the people who are climbing at their own risk. And that money is going to be used in the rescue because this rescuing is costing the government almost $3 million. Right? So I have to support the bond. Therefore, taxpayers should not subsidize that anything which is freely chosen. If this is something that is needed by the country, one can understand. But it's like a hobby. Therefore, taxpayers should not be made to pay for it. So this supports, right? So I write S for support. The government is obliged to take measures to deter people from risking their lives. So will this tax amount deter people? Yes, if you have to fill a large bond, which will be forfeited in case of a calamity, then you are going to think, oh my God, okay, I have to give this extra money also. So many people will not go thinking about how much more they have to spend. So this also supports. So the idea is not just the fact that the government has to be given the money to rescue you. Also, this amount will prevent people who are just going into this danger without thinking to pause and think, because it has to be a sum of money that they have to pay. For physically risky sports, the government should issue permits only to people who have minimal training. Now, this is suggesting an alternative. It is saying don't charge the tax, check the skill. That means don't look at taking a bond. Now do a test. In the test, choose people who you think can do this thing. Otherwise, don't let them go. Earlier, the proposition was let everyone go, put this money there. Because anyways, we have to rescue these kind of people. And the money can be a deterrent also. Now, when you give an alternative to the suggestion, you are not supporting, put a cross, looks like our answer. Citizens who use publicly subsidized rescue services should be required to pay toward it. So this is saying yes, pay. So this also supports. What did I tell you? In an accept question, 3 will follow the verb, 1 will be accept. So the 3 following the verb are A, B and D. That leaves us with our answer, which is option C. Right? I hope you understand this. If you understand this, give me a heart emoji. Heart emoji. Let's spread the verb love. Spread the love for logic. Spread the love for critical reasoning. Spread the love for the fact that you are going nearer to understanding these questions. And you are learning little tips here and there that will make you to process this information easily in the exam, right? So I'll wait for the heart emojis while we move to the next question. After checking the answer, C is not support, and that is our answer. So we are down with the first question of the day, and I can see hearts coming my way. Lots of hearts from my side to you. So I will be sending hearts to you. Right. So let's go to the sixth question. I'm trying to pick questions from different areas and facts from different areas so that we are able to go over all the little genres of reading. So let's go to question number 6. In response to requests made by the dairy industry, the government is considering whether to approve the synthetic hormone BST for use in dairy cows. Read carefully, okay? So what is the use of this BST? It increases milk production, but also leads to recurring udder inflammation, fertility issues, symptoms of stress. So cows go through a whole lot of upheaval. All of these problems can be handled with constant veterinary care, but this level of veterinary care would cost big farms far less per cow than they would cost small farms, right? So let's say that we give BST. BST is causing issues. Issues can be handled, but big farms will be able to We'll have to add an extra cost, right? But that would be much less as compared to the cost which goes on to small farms. So, which of the following claims is most strongly supported by them? So, if the above statements above are true, which of the following claims? Claims means from this fact situation, we have to identify an option from A, B, C, D that will give us a conclusion here, that will summarize or conclude the situation that we can read in front of us. 30 seconds for you all to go over the options and the questions again. All right. So let's go to the breakdown, right? Let's go to the breakdown. Now, the breakdown is government is looking at whether to approve the hormone or not. So line 1 puts out the problem, which is approval of the hormone. Then the next few lines tell us what are the problems with the hormone. Do you follow that? Cost of dealing with the hormone, where we are told big farmers benefit. Now, this hormone is going to increase the production of milk. Imagine. Of course, cows are going to go through a lot of issues, but if you call the vet will be able to handle the issues. So, should this hormone be approved? Who is likely to get the hormone approved? Probably the big farmers, because they will be able to produce more milk and sell more milk, right? And they might be adding a little more cost of maintenance of the cows because they would have to hire regular veterinary care. But the decision would be, I'm selling much more milk. So even if I have to put more money to maintain and upkeep the cows and get veterinary care, since I have a big farm, the veterinary services per cow for me have reduced drastically. So with this, we have to go back to the question. So who do you think is more likely to look at the big cows and the usage of PST, right? So if you think and ask yourself, who is making this request? There are requests by the dairy industry. Now, industry would be all farms. And the government is looking at whether to approve this hormone. What do we know about the hormone? Causes these problems. This is problems. But the solution is also given. And we are told this solution is more beneficial if you have a big farm because the costing is involved. That means if you combine all this information, you can infer that who is pressing the government to approve the hormone. Is it the big guys, big farm guys, or is it the small farm guys? Write the answer in the chat box. Who is pressing the government? Is it the big farm guys or is it the small farm guys? And that is your answer. So let's look at the options. The government is unlikely to approve. Now, again, course of action. This was the first thing I told you in this lecture. How do we know whether government is likely or unlikely to approve? We are just told problems with BST, monetary concerns, etc. Now, we don't know the criteria they are looking at. No, nothing has been told to us that BST cows are giving this kind of milk or that kind of milk. So, course of action. right? The proportion of cows that suffer from all this symptoms are currently greater on big dairy farms. Wrong information, absolutely incorrect, because the hormone has not been approved. Now, if someone is injecting the cows with illegal hormones, we don't know. Please note, approval is awaited. Read the facts. At the present time, milk from cows raised on small farms is safer to drink than milk from cows raised on big farms. Again, you are assuming. What are we assuming? That approval is given. It is being considered. It is not given. And we are assuming that small farms are not going to inject the cows. We don't know all that, isn't it? What we know is big farms are likely to push it more and likely to gain more if the government approves. Why? Because they will sell more milk. Cost of maintenance of cows for them will be low because they are big, so they have more cows to maintain, and that would bring veterinary services at more meaningful rates as compared to small farms. So we have information, somebody is pushing this hormone, likelihood is big farm is pushing it because it is also making economic sense for them. Options B and C are assuming that the hormone is approved. It has started being administered. Wrong. Hormone is up for approval. Once approved, what we can infer is big farms stand to gain the most. So the correct answer for this is option D. Give me a quick thumbs up if answer D has been understood by you and you have understood why we have eliminated these two. So every bit of information is important when you are looking at the options, children. Remember that. So our answer for this is option D. Quick thumbs up, and then we move to the third last question of the day. The third last question of the day, which is question number 7. Touted as the world's most secure bank, the Elysee of Paris. Paris is how you say it in French, but we can say Paris. The Elysee of Paris implements nano laser technology to analyze identification documents. The technology is equipped to evaluate all aspects of identification with staggering accuracy, such as signatures, stamps, holograms, and photos. Not even the best forgery specialist can construct false documents. Right? So, what are the facts in front of us? This very secure bank has some kind of technology that not even the best forgery specialists can hope to bypass. Can construct false documents that will bypass this technology. So, it's a short piece of information, short passage. Right? Not even the best specialists could construct false documents. So let's look at the breakdown of the argument. Conclusion is in the last line, and the key word is not even. Right? Not even. That means we can say that it is highly unlikely that anyone would be able to produce such documents that will bypass this security system, because this security system is looking at things with staggering accuracy. right? So this is a very, very high end passage because it tells you chances are very dim, right? So let's look at the options now. Option A looks all right, except for the fact that it talks about thieves. And we are looking at forgers. Slight difference. We are not saying forgers are not going to thieve the place, but we don't know whether thieves are breaking in or using false documents to enter. If thieves are breaking in, we don't have information for that scenario because this passage is giving us information for forgery, right? So thieves is broad and the scenario has not been explained to us correctly how these thieves are planning to enter. So let's keep A out for the moment. Nano laser technology will soon be implemented. Now this is prediction, not even course of action. How do we know it will be implemented? If I know it, fine, but I have to mark an answer which I can read and gauge. We are not here to predict everyone will implement it. It is too nice, isn't it? Out. Forgery alone is not sufficient for a successful falsification of documents that would pass this technology. Yes, because it is given, not even the best forger can do it. That means if you are planning to do something about this documentation, forgery won't achieve it. What else will achieve it? We don't know. So C, in other words, is trying to say that it will be highly unlikely if this technology is correct, if this, whatever is written about the technology, if this is true, then forgery can't give you access. So it's like saying forgery alone is not sufficient. That means what else do we have to do? We don't know. Is there something else? We don't know. So in other words, he is trying to say that forgers are not likely to enter this bank at least because of the high accuracy of detection of documents. So C looks like our answer. This is absolutely irrelevant. I hope you have been able to eliminate D. Isn't it? So the staggering accuracy, look at these keywords. Not even the best forgery. So it is pretty much saying forgery is incapable of happening at this place. Forgery itself. Now, if you add something more to it, if you beat the technology, if you destroy the hologram or God knows what, maybe, but that has not been discussed. What has been discussed is forgery is unlikely to yield any result. So the correct answer over here is option C. So I hope you have got this. And that is our answer for the 7th one. Right? So Yukta C is correct because what else would you choose here? What else would you choose here? Option A is out because we don't know how thieves are entering. We are being told document can't be forged. Now, whatever you're forging the document for, getting access, stealing something, because if you are a thief, we don't know how you are going to enter, how you're going to infiltrate. If you have a method to enter forcefully, then you don't have to produce documents. So that is outside the discussion. The discussion is on you cannot duplicate your documents and enter this bank for whatever purpose, to steal information, to steal money, or whatever you want to do. Because if you are committing forgery, your intent is not good. Why? Because they have used a technology which will catch forgery. So that means if you have some plans to do something at this bank, forgery is out. So C is saying forgery is out. That is what the passage is also saying. I hope that makes it clear for you. Awesome. So let's look at the 8th question. It's very interesting. It's an experiment. So it is called a taste test. Participants were asked to try two versions of a cola, one regular and one cola extra. This cola extra had a special ingredient, right? So two groups were made and they were told which sample was cola extra. So they were showed, two groups were made, both the groups were showed, this is cola extra. Then let's call them A and B. Both were informed about which one is cola extra. Then B was told that cola extra has white vinegar as the extra ingredient. What happened? What was seen? Members of the first group, which is A, liked cola extra, right, by a margin of 2:1, which means double the number of people liked cola extra in group A, while majority of group B preferred the regular cola. And what was the difference? The only difference between the two groups was group B was told what is the extra ingredient. You all understand vinegar, I hope? So group B was informed of the extra ingredient. And group A was kept in suspicion. It's cola extra, but they were not told what it was. So what can we say on the basis of this? I will give you 30 seconds to read on your own also and look at the options, and then we will break down. Breaking down the argument is your best takeaway from these sessions. I'm showing you how to break down this argument. I'm showing you how the broken down argument can help you reach the answer faster because of the clarity. And if you are unable to break down an argument, that means you haven't understood it. That's also good information for you. If you haven't understood it, then you will pause, you will stop yourself from marking any random answer, and you will move on. You will try it again. Right? Great. So let's break down this argument. What do we know? We know when you know what the ingredient is, your preference changes as per the stats that are given. So from reading this information that we are given, we can conclude that by looking at both the groups, one can say that what you preferred in the two samples was highly motivated by your knowledge, because the difference between the two groups was one group had knowledge of the secret ingredient, and that knowledge made the group not like the cola extra because they did not like that ingredient. It's vinegar. You know what vinegar is, that that very I mean, you can't drink it. It has a weird taste. So knowledge made them not like it. Whereas group A, many people liked it. Double the number of people liked cola extra because they had no knowledge of what it was in it. Maybe they were just motivated by the word extra. So based on that, let's come back here and let's start the options. Right? Based on that, let's come back here and let's look at the options. So, knowing the identity of a beverage's ingredients may affect a consumer's enjoyment. Look at this lovely word may. It is our perfect word for the answer, and it looks like our answer because without looking at the option, we have come to this conclusion. What changed between the two groups? One group knew, and it appears that that knowledge changed the outcome for the second group. That knowledge changed the outcome of the second group because now, after knowing, it appears that they were not able to enjoy cola extra like the first group, right? The version of cola extra given to the second group contained a higher concentration. Absolutely false. So look at option B. Can you not eliminate this option on your own, because clearly it's not written in the passage? Anything which is not written in the passage and the option makes it up on its own. Random things, it had extra vinegar. How do we know that it's not given? It's clearly given. Everyone was given the same kind of colas. So absolutely wrong. Don't even think about it. Eliminate it. Most members do not enjoy the taste of white vinegar. What about option C? Looks like a very, very attractive option. Attractive options that are incorrect are called traps. Attractive options that are incorrect are called traps. So why C a trap? Because we can only infer, we can only say maybe they do not like vinegar. Maybe when they were told it's vinegar, that affected their taste right from the start. Maybe they liked what they drank, but the thought of vinegar made them say, no, it's not nice. So did they not like the taste of this extra cola with vinegar because they hate the taste of vinegar? We don't know. Was it only something they felt? How can vinegar be good? So that is why the minimum truth is that maybe vinegar's knowledge had a role to play, but we are not sure that they gave genuine feedback because they did not like the taste. From the facts, it appears the knowledge made a difference because the number of people in A and the number of people in B is drastically different when it comes to liking cola extra. The only difference was knowledge in B. So maybe knowledge has a role to play. That is why we have written may, because we may be wrong. Option C is saying definitely they did not like the taste. This is too much. We can't say this because we were not told they tasted and they did not like it. We were just told, they were told, here twice the number of people said yes, we like it, there they did not. So, but we don't know, was it the knowledge that affected the decision or was it genuine taste? So we can never be sure of the final reason unless given clearly. That is why we don't choose this option and we choose the option which contains may, because in such things, a final thing without asking the members we can't say. But definitely there is a gap because the numbers are hugely different. So we use may. Members of the first group were given the cola extra sample first. Now all this is extra information, we don't know. C is one attractive option. We call it a trap, right? Because it is sure they did not enjoy the taste, while we can't say we are sure they did not enjoy the taste because there can be two options. Either the knowledge affected it or they did not enjoy the taste. So we can't say one with a very, very conclusive way. That is why we say maybe knowledge has a role to play, right? And that is option A. Have you got it? Yes, Shauri Mishra, your answer is correct. That's good. And now we move to the second last question for ourselves, which is question number 9, and that's your answer A, children. Question 9 says, Publishers have always been concerned about profitability, but while it used to be at least possible to get a book published that was unlikely to be popular and hence unlikely to be a money maker, profitability is now the sole criteria. Thus, no matter how much literary merit a book possesses, it will not be published if it looks like it won't be popular. Simple facts. I'll give you 30 seconds to have a look and then we will break this down. Let's break this down. So does it mean literary merit is not publishable? No. Literary merit is not the problem. Only literary merit is the problem. So the author is distinguishing between two things: merit versus popularity. If you are popular, you will be published. If you are not popular, you will not be published. If you are popular, you will be published. If you are not popular, you will not be published. Now, if you are popular plus if you have literary merit, great, definitely you will be published. But if you only have literary merit, but you are not popular, then you won't be published. So the catch here is not literary merit. Literary merit has been used as a term to say even if the book is very well written and critics would like it, that it shows that quality is not the concern here, popularity is the concern. So our catchphrase is popularity. We will not base our answer on literary merit. Literary merit has been used as extra information to say that even that won't make the publisher publish a book, right? Why would popular be published? Because it is believed that popular has a direct connect with money making. So the author assumes popular will make money. Hence, popular is published. And remember, whenever the author says what happened earlier in the past, that does not make any difference. Now, what is the situation is your current scenario on which you have to base your conclusion. So every time the author will compare it with the past, usually bringing the past in the conclusion is not a good idea. You should choose an option for what it says about the present, right? So this is your breakdown. You are going to, in this breakdown, we are going to look at what is the more important keyword for us. The more important keyword for us is not merit, but popularity. Why? Because the author assumes popularity leads to money making. And everyone wants to be a businessman, make money. So there is a connect between popular and money and profits. Therefore, our focus word here is that and not literary merit. I hope that is clear to you. Whenever two words are stressed upon, always ask yourself, what is the focus word? What is the word that is finally leading to the conclusion? In this case, it was literary merit versus popularity. So I hope you understood that. Time for a quick revisiting of hearts. Where are all the hearts for me, children? Right? So while you give the hearts, we go back to the options. So based on our discussion, I assume it is safe. Based on our discussion, I assume it is safe to say that literary merit is something that you will eliminate from the, thank you for your hearts, that you will eliminate from the answer, because is the author saying literary merit cannot be published? No. Publishing decision is made on popularity. We have already discussed it in the breakdown part, right? Now, what did I write? Whatever happened earlier, does it make any difference? Is the passage written to tell us what happened earlier? earlier has only been used as a comparison for us. So eliminate that because we have to focus on the now. Our answer cannot be based on what happened earlier. So A goes, B goes. Good books are published now only if this is a limiting situation. It is necessary. What is necessary? Popular. We have the keyword for the answer here. The publishing decision is based on popular, and that's what C says. Looks like our answer. D, it is harder to get a book published today than it once was. What did I tell you, children? What was earlier? What was in the past? Let it be in the past. Our answer cannot be based on the past. So remember these little rules that I am giving you question wise, because you will see a repetition of this pattern. Keyword, focus on the correct keyword. Base your answer on the correct keyword. If any past reference is given, remember not to choose an option based on just the past. So that's why we have eliminated options B and D, because they are only talking about the past. Past is not the focus of the author. The author is talking about today. Past is only for reference. So our answer for inference or main idea cannot be past. Right? So that was question number 9 for all of you. A quick look at this, and then we move to the last question for the day. And the last question for the day, so that's your answer C for 9. And the last question for the day is 10. Garbage dumps do not harm wildlife. Why? So look at the first line. Looks like our conclusion. Looks like the claim of the author that garbage dump is not harming wildlife. Let's see why. Evidence is furnished by the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya, where baboons use dumps on the reserve as a food source, right? And they mature faster and have more offsprings than do the baboons on the reserve that do not scavenge on garbage. So the author is giving some evidence on baboons eating from the dumps, garbage dumps. That means lots and lots of garbage that is thrown, and those baboons are able to have more babies as compared to the baboons that do not eat from the dumps. And remember, it is an accept question. What were the steps for accept question? Go to the verb. Verb is cast a doubt. Cast a doubt, in other word, is weaken. That means accept question here means weaken accept. Weaken accept means 3 options will weaken, 1 option will not. That's how we work on the accept questions. 3 options will weaken, 1 option will not. So what is the rule for accept? I see accept. I go back to the question stem, trace the verb. Now I tell myself weaken accept. This trick may appear to be frivolous right now. It may appear to be, oh, this is so easy, but it will really be helpful in the stress scenario of exam. So go to the verb. So 3 options are described as weaken, and 1 option is accept. Why? Because it is weaken accept. That means 4 options are there. 3 will do this verb, 1 will not. So in this case, 3 will weaken, 1 will not. Right? I'll give you time to read the question. So when you have to weaken the author's argument, author is saying dump is not harmful. Right? Author is saying not harmful. If we weaken it, that means 3 options have to show that the dump is harmful and 1 option has to show not harmful. So let's write down, isn't it? Let's write down weaken will achieve what? Author is saying not harmful. Garbage dump, not harmful. Weaken means 3 options have to say harmful. 1 option has to say not harmful. Remember? Right? So let's make it easy. I have to weaken it and accept won't weaken it. So what happens in weaken in this case? Author is saying not harmful. So weaken will mean 3 will show it is harmful and 1 will be with the author that it is not harmful. So option A says baboons that eat garbage have the life expectancy of baboons that eat garbage is significantly lower. Harmful. Harmful means it is weakening. Let's write W. Remember for strengthen we wrote S. The cholesterol level of garbage eating baboons is high. Harmful. Let's write W. The population of hyenas living near unregulated garbage has doubled. Not harmful. Not harmful means it is our accept answer. Put a tick. Why? Because A and B are saying problem with garbage, hence it is weaken, weaken. C is talking about not harmful because it is giving another example of another species, which is hyenas. They are also showing great results. Their population is doubled. So not harmful. It's a good point, right? Hence C. Birth defects has doubled. Harmful. So write W. So A, B and D. Harmful, harmful, harmful except C. Did you see it? So if I break down the thing, if I use these little tips, what is accept? What do we have to oppose? What are the 3 things doing? What is accept not doing? I just have to trace the verb, then look at the conclusion, then make my answer types. 3 have to show this, 1 has to show this. Imagine how much of an accuracy it is going to push up in your answering. Because during stress, when you have to solve the whole 2-hour paper together, children, it gets confusing. Okay, what did I have to do in accept? You forget. Why? Because you're not doing a simple step of tracing the verb before it. So if you start paying attention to the little things, your big things, the big marks will come your way. It is all about paying attention to the little things and making your life easy and more methodical in the mocks, so that your mock scores do not suffer because you are in a rush, you are hurrying, and you are just avoiding doing the little disciplinary things that you should have done in the first place. So don't rush your answers. Practice a lot after every masterclass. Remember, redo the masterclass, watch it again, so that you take away from here. You understand step-wise how you have to work. If you just follow those steps and do the little things, your answers will start becoming correct in the exam. It will not happen overnight. After the masterclass, see the video again. Solve a bunch of questions. At least solve 20 to 30 questions on the same thing, on the same concept. Follow the steps that you learned in the masterclass. And once those steps become a part of your habit, it will start showing itself in the mocks and then in your final exam. And that is what we want to achieve. So, this was our question number 10. And our answer is C. I have already shown you. And I want you all to join the leagues of all our top ranking students who were methodical, who followed the sessions and who practiced. So you have to do the session, practice, repeat. 3 steps. Do the session, get your concepts, get the tricks, practice the tricks, and repeat it. So repeat is your killer move here that is going to get you your ranks. We also have our GK Grand Slam going on, and we have our uh, demo classes going on. If you are not a part of Clat Possible, be a part of the GK Grand Slam in your cities. We are bringing the Grand Slam to Chandigarh on 11th and 12th, and we are bringing the GK Grand Slam to Delhi on the 19th, followed by Raipur on 13th and 14th. So, sorry, before 19th is Raipur, 13th and 14th. If you are in Raipur, a huge shout out to you. And if you are in Delhi on the 19th, the GK Grand Slam is coming to Delhi. And on the 26th, it is coming to Noida. As more and more dates are released, I will be sharing that with you in the masterclass. You are already with us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram for keeping in touch and staying with the vibe of Clat Possible's master trainers, the industry experts, the founders, and the place where it all began. So I look forward to seeing you on Friday now with another topic and another great masterclass, so that critical reasoning becomes one big methodical exercise for you and something that you start enjoying rather than getting afraid of, rather than dreading. So that will be all for today. Have a great evening ahead and lots of love to you. Spread the love of reasoning.